So there was one role I was wanting to get before I gave this thing a review, and I got it. Noxious Vetiver is in somewhat of a weird spot. I'm going to go through it in the review. Do I think it's good? I do. But there are some things you need to work around, or things you need to look for. There's some really good things about it, but some really bad things. It's an onslaught weapon. You can focus a tonic, kinda. You're going to get it mostly from completions. You'll be seeing them drop. We have the Dark Ether Reaper trait. I love this trait, and on a weapon like this, it helps a ton. Get some downs, a charge comes up, walk into it or shoot it, you can overflow the magazine. It's a 600 RPM arc SMG, and SMGs in general just have competition. This is more of a PvE weapon. I have a small section for PvP at the end. But just in the same class, we got Perfect Pitch for Solar recently. Shire's Wrath has been great ever since it came out, mostly for PvP there, but with it being a 600, it's tough. I mean, it has some ugly stats, like Rancid, if you will. Some key stats are really, really bad. 18 handling, 19 reload. It's awful. Even if you get some help, it's still awful. Like, let's say Flared Magwell. Luckily, there are perks and game mechanics to help this out, but an issue is you have to get around it. One way or another, you have to get around this. And the third, Loose Change to the Pain, Thresh, Unrelenting, Attrition Orbs, Pugilist, Heating Up. Final column, Jolting Feedback, Target Lock, Frenzy, Redirection, Vorpal Weapon, Desperate Measures, Rampage. Out of the gate, Jolting Feedback stands out, and here's how it works on this weapon. We have a base 26 round magazine, and again, this is where things kind of get weird. Some good things, some bad things, things you have to work around. Jolting Feedback at base deals Jolt on the 19th bullet. And Jolting Feedback is just a great perk. As a bonus, built-in overload. That's never bad, ever. So, it being an SMG, kind of worth it to have. The second part of the perk, while amplified, Jolt is applied faster. So at base, once per magazine, you get Jolt to go on the 19th bullet. And even if you were to overflow the magazine, there's still a bit of a cooldown on the base perk, but while amplified, Jolt comes out every 14th bullet. So that means from base 26, you have to have a mag perk, whether it be backup mag, appended, whatever. That way you get to at least 28 rounds. That way you can jolt twice in a magazine. And with something like the Dungeon AR, you can have multiple jolts in the same magazine. This one, you need help. So that's something that is advised if you run arc, running amplified, whatever, you have to get the ammo up past 26. That way you can jolt multiple times in the same magazine. For the pairing perk, one of the ones I was interested in, and this is why the review came out a little bit later, it's the role that I wanted, it was Thresh, which sounds odd. This is an old perk, rarely seen nowadays. Why Thresh? You get a small amount of super energy on kills, 1% energy per kill. 1.33% enhanced. We just got an update to roaming supers. They're 3 times faster. So in theory, this was my thinking, you have a weapon that gets you your super faster on top of huge buffs to supers. So in a lot of the gameplay, I'm testing and running Storm Trance, Arc Warlock, sometimes the class itself, sometimes Prismatic. It should be pretty decent, right? I mean, even on Warlock, you can throw in Battle Harmony. Final blows with weapons matching your super grants bonus super energy. 1.5% on minors, up to 2.5% on the larger one. So a 3 times faster super in Storm Trance, 1% more super energy per kill because of Thresh, and then Battle Harmony, 1.5 to 2.5%. It should be cooking. And it does okay. You're seeing the super energy from it. It's decent, but here's the issue. Super energy is off of damage events. And I talked about it in the Fast Super video, like take a Kavastov, an Outbreak, a Necrochasm. The damage events from these weapons on a kinetic, it getting super energy well outperforms an actual super exotic for more super energy with a weapon that gets even more super on those kills, which is nuts. And I'm really glad I got this threshold because I had to test it. I mean, does it work? Yeah, but not as good as a kinetic weapon that I talked about, especially on Prismatic, where kinetics can give you more prismatic energy. And it has a big downfall that I'll talk about in a moment. That still leaves a couple pairings. Another old, rarely seen one is Unrelenting, the original heal clip, and this is fine. Get 3 minor kills, get 65 health. 70th enhanced. You have Jolt getting collaterals, and in theory, you just do your thing. You're also going to see charges on the ground, the Dark Ether charges. Get those, overflow the mag, get health on multi-kills. However, the base stats are so terrible, and the same issue was with the Thresh roll. All of this is without arc loaders, and you've been seeing the reload. You need reload on the weapon, on your exotic, something. You have to get some stats on it. Because you don't have a fast reload or a hunter amplified reload, it is downright awful. It is terrible. I'm going to come back to this. That leads us into Loose Change. It applies Jolt, you hit the Jolt, you get 50 reload. You know, a 263% faster reload than base, over 3 times faster than base. By default, to me, this makes it the God roll. By default. The other rolls, even Pugilist, I was excited about that because it's really good on, let's say, a Prismatic Warlock with the Arcane Needle. You get a lot of Jolt multi-kills, those kills are getting melee energy, get those needles faster. But whatever you do with those, Pugilist, Thresh, Unrelenting, you have to get the reload up. And then if you want just the full benefit, you have to get the magazine up. up. If you're running arc and you're amplified, that way you get 2 jolts per magazine. And like I said and started with, weird spot. Good things, bad things, things you have to work with, things you have to notice and realize. But that's why loose change makes the most sense to me. I mean, we have attrition orbs, but again, the reload's so bad, the stats are so bad. If you do pair attrition orbs with jolting feedback, per magazine, you're gonna get 1 jolt and 1 orb, but it has a slow reload. We have some other things like frenzy. I mean, that bypasses our troubles of handling and reload, but there's a ton, multiple, dozens, 100 weapons with frenzy that can do that too. So 2 options, the main role, loose change jolting feedback. Otherwise, they are great combinations that get the reload up, because if you don't, there's a ton that perform better. Like even going all the way back to the OG eye close. Remember this thing? I have like almost 6,000 kills with it. Feeding Frenzy Volt Shot, this will be 1,000 times better. Because if you don't help that reload, you have something like Feeding Frenzy, you're just applying more and doing better with an SMG like this one. In the Crucible, not too good, not impressive. There's a couple things you can do, and the meta SMGs are kind of solidified. We know what those are. I mean, within the same class, we have Shire's Wrath, but poor stats, poor perks for the Crucible. It's got a 0.8 TTK and get down to 0.7 with something like, let's say, Rampage. I didn't get any good PvP rolls, but then again, there aren't really for it. You're seeing Pugilist Rampage, and if I had to choose, it'd be something like heating up Target Lock or heating up Rampage. But with rolls like that, it's just, you want them to work, they will work, but it's not really set up for the Crucible. I mean, you won't see them, or at least you shouldn't. You do have better PvP SMGs, and if you're newer to the game, this isn't the one. It's going to make you think that SMGs suck, and they don't. In conclusion, it's definitely a PvE weapon, and it's a pretty good one. Unique things that it has, like Thresh and Unrelenting, I just wish that the stats were better. Each have their use case, but in the end, Thresh gets outdone, Unrelenting is good, but you have to work around the stats, and the same with Pugilist. Loose Change makes the most sense on this one. Loose Change, you could be on any character, so you just want to apply Jolt, get a fast reload. You can be on Strand Titan, it doesn't matter. You point, you shoot, you go, that is it. You don't have to worry about reload. You don't have to worry about getting the magazine up if you want to be amplified. Well, if you're running an arc subclass, all you have to do is put on a backup mag if you didn't get it in the magazine column. So that's the one that I recommend, and it's the one I'm going to be keeping and using going forward. And as an SMG, it's worth it because it's kind of its own unique option right now at this point in the game. Use it for champions, it's got built-in overload stun. It's worth it on that front. But hopefully in the future, we get a better SMG with jolting feedback. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about the 600 arc SMG down below. I do wish, and it's not just these, they would give universal archetype buffs to handling and reload stability on certain ones. I do, and I have a complete list of that. But what I went over in this video is a common issue with a lot of weapons that will never get heavy usage because of things like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts though. Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.